And the reason that we talk about co-creation rather than creation with sustainability strategies is we want to make sure that the views of everybody in the organization are heard and incorporated. And that's really on this theme of creating a pragmatic strategy that will actually be implemented. It's very easy if you're a sustainability professional to come up with, this is the perfect world, this is the picture that I want to paint, this is how we will get to net zero. But if you haven't involved the people that will actually be involved in making those changes in the strategy setting process, you're going to set goals that are too ambitious, that are not practical, and that has the real risk that the strategy will be published and the goals will not be met, and your organization will start to see sustainability as a bit of an albatross around its neck, as something that's holding it back rather than something that's improving its performance. And so that's why it's super important to have a co-creation of your sustainability strategy. So as we've said, it will help create buy-in. It will make sure that the strategy that you come up with fits with your organization's needs, fits with the priorities and challenges that already exist. And by involving people in strategy creation, you naturally get buy-in. If somebody has set a goal for their department, they're much, much more likely to put resources to achieving that goal than if you turn around to them and say, this is now your department's goal. So co-creation is the room where it happens. And these are the ways that I recommend that you run your workshops, your room where it happens, to ensure success. Take 10, 15 minutes at the start of the workshop to set the scene. Talk about the work that you've done. Explain, we've surveyed the workforce. We've interviewed 10 senior leaders. We've spoken to the top 3 suppliers. We've engaged with the top 5 customers. And these are the key findings from that engagement process. Talk about the research that you've done. Our parent organization has a net zero by 2050 strategy. They've left it up to us how we're going to get there. Or this regulation is incoming. We want to make sure that we're actually benefiting from complying to the regulation and not just ticking a box. Take that time, set the scene, make sure everybody in the room is on the same page as you. And then when you've done that, start working with the room to understand, to define the sustainability pillars. What are the things that matter most to our organization? Is it we're all very enthusiastic, but we don't know what we're doing, so we really need to focus on improving our capabilities? Is it, okay, we've spent time working on capabilities, we know what we're doing, now we need to put that knowledge into practice, and we need to really focus on improving the efficiency of our energy consumption, or sourcing low carbon materials, or if you're a design consultancy, bringing sustainability principles into our design practices so that our products have lower carbon or water impacts. And then for each of those pillars, whether it's energy, whether it's governance, whether it's materials, you want to then come up with 3 to 5 SMART goals for each pillar. So you want 3 to 5 pillars, and for each pillar, 3 to 5 SMART goals. And then when you've done that, that will help you to define the mission statement and the vision statement. So when somebody reads your report, they'll see, this is our sustainability vision, this is our mission, these are our pillars, and these are our goals. But when you're designing the strategy, you want to be doing that almost backwards. You want to say, okay, these are our pillars, our themes, these are the goals of those pillars. And when we take that all together, that creates a mission, and that mission then feeds into a vision. And then at the end of that really fun session where you're going around with sticky notes and post-its and coming up with ideas, you then want to present that back to everybody in the room, give everybody a chance to reflect and comment. And then what I like to do after this, it's going to be a very intense, exciting half-day session, everybody's buzzing, lots of ideas, is write it up, email it around the next day, and then that gives people an opportunity to come back with comments. And if you're not getting those comments spontaneously, pick up the phone or walk by your colleague's desk and say, hey, thank you so much for your contribution to that co-creation session. What did you think about X that particularly affects your area? And make sure you're getting that feedback, because a lot of the time people can kind of ride the wave of enthusiasm And then on cool, calm reflection, they think, oh, maybe we're a little bit too ambitious. And it's about getting the right level of ambition. Your sustainability strategy needs to be ambitious. It needs to be showcasing what your organization is going to do to make that change, but it also needs to be pragmatic. It needs to be set at a level where, yes, it will be challenging to achieve our goals, but we do feel confident that we can achieve them, because otherwise people are going to feel disheartened. They're going to feel that it's not something that's worth focusing on, and that's the last thing that we want. Just to remind everybody, SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And every goal that you put in your strategy should be a SMART goal. So an example for an organization that hasn't got a handle on its carbon footprint yet would be to create a spreadsheet tool to track energy consumption and calculate resulting emissions by the end of Q3 2026. So it's specific. How are we going to achieve this goal? We're going to create a spreadsheet tool. It's measurable. The tool will track our energy consumption and it will calculate emissions by the end of Q3 2026. So you can say yes or no, have we achieved it? Depending on the organization, that will dictate whether or not this is an achievable goal. But in my experience, for most organizations, getting the data is pretty achievable. Is it relevant? Well, that's where you come back to your pillars. If one of your pillars is reducing emissions of carbon or controlling energy, yes, it's super relevant. Is it time bound? Yes, end of Q3 2026.